Hi everyone! Have you ever been in a situation where you have gotten an exam paper back from your teacher and you read the feedback, you see the mark, it's possibly not as good as what you'd hoped, maybe a mid-B, maybe a C when you were shooting for that A range, and you're looking at your textual analysis and you have a piece of feedback, a little line shooting out from your quotation saying, "How?" And you think, "I don't know how!" Well, today's video is about how to use techniques. This is something that every English student struggles with, mostly because it's not explicitly taught. Yes, your teachers might go through sections of analysis with you in class, but more often than not, we just talk about the content and you actually don't get a really rich understanding of what language is doing. This is what English is about. Words have power. Words have significance and words have meaning. I recently learnt about how a ton of high schoolers these days view the full stop as a point of aggression. News to me, but this is what I mean. This is language at work. The words that you choose matter. The words that composers have chosen, the style and structure that they're expressing their ideas through matters. And so it's really important that you know how language is creating meaning. So this is a bit of an interactive video today. I am going to walk you through a strategy that I have used for stage 5 and 6 to help them with analysing different language techniques and also how to express that in an essay. I also have a modified version for the drama essay, which I'm going to reference as well. I only have a hard copy of the drama version, but I will also post the English version as I'm talking because there are some subtle differences. But basically it starts with my favourite graphic organiser, a table. I have divided the impact that language forms and features or theatrical elements have on a particular audience into 4 different categories. These categories are emphasises, connects or immerses for drama and theatrical performances, signal and position. You'll notice the audience is crucial in this. It's really important that we are making a connection between what language forms and features are doing within a text and then the impact and meaning that is created for an audience. So, starting off with the first column, emphasises. These techniques place emphasis on certain sections of a text for a specific reason. So if we're thinking about techniques that emphasize, you might think about hyperbole as an example. Hyperbole is when a particular item is exaggerated with an intended meaning. Therefore, hyperbole could be used to emphasize a particular idea or experience for a reader. The second column, connects or immerses for drama, draws ideas together. So you've got to think about language forms and features which connect two things. This might be a particular rhyme scheme. If we have rhyming couplets, that's connecting two ideas within a poem. Or alliteration is another great example of connecting two ideas. So when you think about techniques that draw ideas together, think about the reason for this. Does the composer want you to see something, or does the composer want to reframe a particular idea for you? The third category is signal to the audience. These techniques signal certain ideas to an audience, and we also get signaling from emphasis and connecting. And so it's important to remember that the final 2 items in this table can also be married with emphasize and connect. Lastly, techniques that position the audience help them in feeling, understanding, or seeing something within a text. These are usually really big, complex techniques in which a lot of smaller figurative devices feed into. So we're thinking imagery, we're thinking tone, we're thinking mood. So it's important to remember that techniques that position an audience are often created through smaller figurative devices that emphasize or connect. Now moving on to the practical element of this video. What I would like you to do is use the template that I've given you and print out a table. In the first row, what I would like you to do is under each column, come up with as many different verbs that you could use to describe the process of emphasizing, connecting, signaling, or positioning. Now that you have a table full of verbs, I really want you to know that this is going to be an incredibly important part of your document. So when you come to explaining how a metaphor works to emphasize something for an audience, you have an excellent range of vocabulary that you can use to show how language is working. It's really great to share these lists with friends, so if you've got a particular study group, perhaps you can complete this task together. In the second row, what you need to do is start to allocate a technique to each column. Now, you will find that some techniques can fall under multiple columns, which is fine, but I want you to limit it to 2 columns only. So you actually need to think really critically about what is that technique doing the most? Is it signaling the most? Is it emphasizing the most? Different forms of repetition are a really great example of techniques that fall into multiple categories, because repetition can connect things, but repetition can also emphasize things. So it's important to also understand the context in which a particular figurative device is appearing. Once you have your completed table, you have this wonderful cheat sheet. So next time you are looking at a particular quote or section of a text and you can identify the technique, get this bad boy out, and then you can start to raise your level of critical analysis to explain how the mechanics of language are working to create meaning. Before I sign off, it's important to understand that you're getting a really clear grasp of meaning that's occurring within a text. So it's important to read up on context, and it's important to understand and infer different cues that you're getting about the meaning created and to seek clarification from your teacher. But what I have found with this strategy with a lot of my classes is that this little activity sort of breaches the gap between you including a quotation and then subscribing meaning to it. It's the how and how the language is working that you can express through different verbs, and also thinking about, is it emphasizing, connecting, signaling, positioning for your audience, that you can really bolster the quality of your analysis. I will hopefully have a couple more videos about improving your analysis coming up shortly. In the meantime, if you have any comments, questions, requests, post them below.